Welcome to the Business Blast podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Wagner. This episode is brought to you by Authors Unite. Authors Unite makes the process of becoming a published, best-selling author as simple as sipping your morning cup of coffee. You can learn more about Authors Unite at authorsunite.com. Now, let's jump into the episode. All right, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Business Blast podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Wagner. Today I have Judi Fox, hashtag FoxRocks, with us, and she hit over 1 million views in 5 months on LinkedIn and is a sought-after speaker and shares her video and content strategy coaching for individuals and businesses to get you inbound leads and opportunities. So welcome to the show.
I'm so excited to be here.
I'm very excited to have you here. We'll dive right in, Judi. I'm really excited for your answers here. The first one is, what is the best story from your life that has an underlying valuable message?
I think I'm going to stick with the LinkedIn video story because there's a lot behind just getting online and making your first video. So the story behind that is I was offline for 4 years before I made that video. And that was one of the very first things I did when I got back online was I looked at all the different platforms after being off of social media for so long. And I saw LinkedIn and I said, wow, I love what's happening on this platform. And I'm back online to be in business back online, not necessarily to start sharing, any kind of pictures or personal stories, but I had been through some really tough times. And I saw LinkedIn as a really supportive, encouraging place that not only was that, but also people are doing business on this platform. So making a video and kind of getting out of my own way for not having expectations about what was going to happen next, I just went for it.
And what is the most valuable piece of information we should know that is within your expertise or industry?
I think the most valuable thing that you should know is that you grow by surrounding yourself with other people who are growing. I think that goes for anything. Yeah, and it goes along with that quote, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Mm-hmm. Yes, and I don't go on.
No, I was going to say it's so true. Like, I think a lot of people, like, obviously internal is extremely important. Like, that's like a big part of the game, but your external also can like influence your internal. So your environment, meaning not just like people, even the weather. I mean, like, there's a lot of factors here, can either, help you or not help you. So I think that quote is very true.
Yeah, and being able to see other people doing the thing that you want to do is huge. And you just don't even realize that you need to see that, and you need to see it in action. And what does that look like? What does it look like on a daily basis or a long-term basis?
And what is your best piece of overall business advice? So not necessarily industry specific.
Maybe that one wasn't industry specific, but it's for everybody. Action is always going to create the clarity that you need. So when you're sitting around trying to hash out a plan, a marketing plan, a business plan, what are you going to do next in your, even on your LinkedIn profile, what are you going to do? That action is always going to create the clarity that you've needed. And you're just waiting if you're waiting, you're not going to get that clarity. You just take one action, whatever it is, do something.
And if you could give your younger self one piece of advice, what would that be?
I was laughing that I should say, this is one piece of advice I would have given to myself, but it's to get laser hair removal way earlier than I did. But
yes, I love that you said that. That's good.
But also don't pick at your skin, or don't just, honestly, to be honest, I probably would have told myself to get over a lot of my insecurities or not worry about them because they're not going to matter in the long run.
And it perfectly goes into the next one. In your opinion, what is the key to happiness?
Laughter.
Yeah, I agree. Did you want to expand on that, or just laughter?
Yeah, search for laughter. Before we started this call, we were doing quick little jokes, and I started surrounding myself by these little jokes that are so silly, but they make you laugh. And if you can just even find a couple moments of laughter throughout your day, it's going to change your life. That sounds funny, but it is true.
No, and the ones that we were saying, those were good. So if you want to if you want to share one, go for it. It's up to you.
I'll share another one. Okay. Oh gosh, what? Where does a penguin keep his money?
I don't know.
In a snowbank.
Oh, nice. That's good.
So bad.
Oh man, I like the hospital one the best. So.
Oh yeah, where does the horse go when he's sick?
The hospital.
Oh, hospital.
Very good. So the next one I have for you, Judi, is what is the best book that you've read, and what was the number one thing that you learned from it?
Yeah, that's a tough one because, like, what is the best? I would say one of the one that made a very big impact and always still just every day reminds me of my strengths, which is Strength Finders. Have you ever heard of that one?
Yeah, I have. Mm-hmm.
And it has a test that you can take to tell you what your top 5 strengths are. And that really unlocked a lot of things inside my own head because it made me realize, wow, we all have a unique mix and medley of strengths that when they all come together, they just make a unique you. And you take for granted what your own strengths are. And you pick apart your weaknesses, just like I was talking about picking apart myself earlier. Like if you just focus on your strengths, it changes everything. And I feel like that's when a lot of things started shifting for me.
And what is your favorite quote and why?
So is a poem a quote? It's a pretty long quote.
No, go for it. You can share that.
Well, I would just share it's If by Rudyard Kipling. If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you. If you can trust yourself when all men doubt you but make allowance for their doubting too. If you can wait and not be tired by waiting, or being lied about, don't deal in lies, or being hated, don't give way to hating, and yet don't look too good nor talk too wise. That's just the first stanza.
Nice. Yeah, that's really good. So wait, what is it called though? So people can
called
find it?
If by Rudyard Kipling. And anywhere it says men, I also think women.
Yeah, for sure.
It was written, I don't know when. Is it back in the 20s, 30s? I'm not sure. But it's a good poem. Yeah. I should look that up. It was written.
I'm definitely going to look it up. And thank you so much for coming on. The last one I have for you before we let you go is, where is the best place for people to find and connect with you online?
So I am spending a lot of time on LinkedIn, obviously. Uh-huh. So my username and my hashtag, like you mentioned, is hashtag Fox, FOXROCKS. And my username, Judi. So Judi Fox, if you Google me, or judifox.com, again, it's the I is the key. There is a woman who has a Y, and she does naked sculptures. So I end up advertising her too. It's like we should get together.
Yeah, so. You guys should. You should form a team. Very cool, and it was a lot of fun. Thanks again for hopping on.
Thank you for having me.
The podcast you just heard was made using Anchor. Ever thought about making your own podcast? Anchor makes it really easy for anyone to get started. It's a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing podcasts. Best of all, it's 100% free. Sign up now at anchor.fm/new. That's anchor.fm/new to get started.